Hello friends, this is Susan Grimes, and today we are going to continue our fairy tale series. So we will be reading the classic Cinderella. Okay, here we go. Once upon a time, there was a kind, sweet girl called Cinderella. Her mother died when she was very young, and her father married again. But his new wife was mean and bossy. Her two daughters, Anastasia and Drusilla, were as mean and nasty as their mother. They treated Cinderella like a servant. One morning, Cinderella was busy polishing her stepsister's shoes when there was a knock at the door. "What are you waiting for?" snapped Drusilla. "Answer it." Cinderella opened the door to find a smart footman. He handed her a gold envelope and made a graceful bow. "The palace is holding a ball for the prince's birthday tonight," he announced. "Every girl in the kingdom is invited." And the invitation says, "You are invited to the prince's birthday ball." "It's not meant for you," cried Anastasia, snatching the invitation. "But the footman said that every girl is invited," protested Cinderella's father. "Of course she may go," said Cinderella's stepmother, slyly, "as long as she has finished all her chores." Cinderella was thrilled. "I'll start my jobs right away." But no matter how hard Cinderella worked, her list of jobs just kept growing. Her stepsisters and stepmother saw to that. "Iron my dress, brush my hair, paint my nails, fetch my necklace." "Oh dear," giggled the stepsisters when the coach arrived to take them to the palace. "Aren't you ready yet?" And they flounced out, laughing unkindly. Poor Cinderella sat by the fireside, and big tears rolled down her cheeks. "I wish I could wear a pretty dress and meet the prince," she sighed. "Wishes can come true," whispered a voice. Suddenly, the room was filled with sparkling light as a fairy appeared. "Dry your eyes, Cinderella," said the fairy. "I am your fairy godmother, and we have work to do." "Go to the garden and fetch me the biggest pumpkin you can find," her fairy godmother said. Cinderella was puzzled, but she did as she was told. Swoosh! With a wave of her wand, Cinderella's fairy godmother transformed the pumpkin into a beautiful coach. Next, the fairy godmother searched around the courtyard and rounded up 4 white mice and a rat. Swoosh! 4 gleaming white horses and a smart coachman appeared. "That's that. Now for you," said the fairy godmother. Swoosh! In a burst of twinkling stars, Cinderella's plain dress was transformed into waves of soft silk, and on her feet were 2 dainty crystals. "I feel like a princess," gasped Cinderella, stepping into the coach. "You look like a princess," smiled her fairy godmother. "But remember, my magic won't last. On the final stroke of 12, everything you see before you will disappear." When Cinderella entered the ballroom, a murmur rippled around the room. "She must be a princess," whispered the guests. They couldn't take their eyes off the beautiful girl, and neither could the prince. He rushed over and asked her to dance. All night long, Cinderella and the prince twirled around the dance floor. Anastasia and Drusilla watched grumpily from the side. Suddenly, the palace clock began to strike. Bang! Bang! Cinderella remembered the warning. The magic was about to end. "I'm sorry," she cried. "I have to go." The prince chased after her, but he was too late. All that remained was a glass slipper twinkling in the moonlight. The following morning, the prince set out to find the beautiful girl from the ball. Every girl in the land must try the slipper, he said. Girl after girl tried to squeeze her foot into the tiny shoe, but with no success. Finally, the prince arrived at Cinderella's house. Anastasia and Drusilla fought over the glass slipper, but no matter how much they squashed and squeezed, they could not force their big feet into the dainty shoe. "Is there no one else?" asked the prince. "There is Cinderella," said her father bravely. "Let her try," said the prince, kneeling to slip the shoe onto Cinderella's pretty foot. "It fits," he cried happily. "My search is over. Will you marry me?" Cinderella agreed at once. "But she can't," shrieked the furious stepmother. "She didn't even go to the ball." Suddenly the room was filled with light as the fairy godmother appeared. She transformed Cinderella's dress into the beautiful ball gown once again. There could be no mistake. Cinderella was the one. The wedding took place the very next day. "And this time you don't just look like a princess," whispered her fairy godmother. "You really are one." The prince and Cinderella lived happily ever after in the palace. Meanwhile, Anastasia and Drusilla had to polish their own shoes and iron their own dresses, and that made them grumpier than ever. The end. Well, I hope you enjoyed the story. Until next time, everybody. Bye-bye.